Hello, and you are back in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. This is our 58th episode, and today we'll be discussing the elites wallowing in degeneracy, and Reddit will still be a dumpster fire after going public. So we're going to hop right into this one. First topic, elites wallowing in degeneracy. Now, Hump Day Potpourri will be out tomorrow, and I guess, spoiler alert, we will be talking about Sean Diddy, Combs, and all the allegations against him. So I will be talking about, the elites wallowing and degeneracy, and you would think it would be that story, but that's going to be on Hump Day Potpourri. I'll give my take on that. I want to dive into this headline and give my take on that and some things that are adjacent to it. The headline being The Sopranos' Drea Di Matteo says, OnlyFans saved my life and it feels good. And this is basically a very short article. 52 losing acting jobs, money dwindling, decides to start OnlyFans. In 5 minutes of joining, she made a life-saving amount of money. Home was in foreclosure, house had flooded, trying to sell the house. Basically, what was her? A whole bunch of stuff happened, but she got on OnlyFans. She made all this money. She's able to take care of her kids. Yada, yada, yada. About basically, this goes on about saying how she can eat more food and bulk up, and this makes her look good, and also all this other stuff. But anyway, this is just a confirmation that this is the lifestyle that people in the upper echelons of society live, is that they are more focused on just feeling good, going from dopamine hit to the next dopamine hit, and doing basically anything they can do as long as it'll make them money. So she was willing to do OnlyFans to pay off her mortgage, basically. And again, it's not a hate the player, hate the game, not the player, right? That's the situation that I'm in. So there are a lot of people who do sex work and they personally like it, and I guess have enough benefit from it, because you've got women who can make like what $50,000 to $75,000 a year doing OnlyFans and all that other sex work, and that's enough money to eat off of. And again, it's a much better job than sitting in a cubicle 8 hours a day staring at Microsoft Excel. So I can understand the appeal of it on some level, but again, there is an exchange of your soul when you do this stuff. As the producer or the consumer, I can speak on the consumption side of it, is that, even though it feels good in the moment and you're hormonally inclined to engage in these sorts of things, and, you do want to get your rocks off because that's just a very natural human thing. It's just been used against us in terms of the porn industry, in terms of, the consumers and the producers of it. And that's why, OnlyFans exists, and the fact that she made so much money so quickly just leads to me thinking there's probably some money laundering going on with OnlyFans and all this other stuff. So I wouldn't put too much I would take it with a grain of salt that these were all like organic people. Like, you hear all these people blowing up on OnlyFans, like all of that money being like actual people subscribing. I think it's a combination of people actually subscribing, and also the fact that you've got these money laundering operations going on, and they're involved in it because the Hollywood, these upper echelons of society, they get together, they party, they do drugs and have all this degenerate sex, and it all gets filmed and it gets used as blackmail material against these various people. That's basically the gist of what Diddy was doing. That's what Epstein was doing. So I wouldn't be surprised if she had stuff like that and she was like, well, either I'm screwed or I feel myself getting screwed on OnlyFans, and I'll make the money come in. And that's what she chose to do. And well, I'm glad, at least in the sense that she's financially secure for now. But it's just, when it only lasts for so long, and two, the long-term negative mental health effects of doing sex work, of all these sorts of things. There is a cost to it, not just, the physical risk that you incur if you're actually doing sex work, in terms of having someone that wants to use you in a violent way, or people who give you STDs and all these sorts of things, especially if you're a woman engaging these sorts of things, doing the most common interaction of sex work, straight man soliciting from a woman. there's a inherent risk that comes with doing that, and I don't think a lot of these girls that get into doing OnlyFans are just young teenage girls, and then they get into doing sex work, and they're not prepared for what these depraved men actually want to do to them, and they get hurt and used and abused, and you have women who get lured into you know the clutches of these people, and they get trafficked into doing porn because the demand is just there, because people just constantly want to go on to the hub and all these other sites that people go on to and just get their rocks off, and they don't care about the long-term consequences. And when you get to those upper echelons of society, nobody cares. It's just about making money, getting influence, getting high, feeling good in the moment. That's why it feels good. That's why you get love bomb whenever you start doing sex work. That's why you'll see all these articles that will mention that. When I was looking for the specific article about Dre DiMatteo saying this, because I thought this was a pretty good commentary to make, I found a whole bunch of articles of women saying like, oh, I got on OnlyFans and it saved my life. It made me feel so good. It really helped with my self-image. And I honestly think this is a bit of a psyop being pushed onto people to sell this idea of a degenerate lifestyle, so that way the elites and what they're doing seems to be more acceptable. It's like, oh yeah, no, it's okay to have a nose that itches all the time because you're snorting coke all the time, and to have your dick falling off because you're got every single STD in the book. That's perfectly okay. Everybody's doing it. And I do think that's part of the psyop, and also the fact that you have people wallowing in degeneracy. It's very soul crushing, so it makes people easier to control. But that's my little spiel there. So you can go through this article from People if you want to look more into it. It'll be in the description below. But we're going into the next topic, and we're going to talk about Reddit. Reddit.com, one of the most used social media sites. I was big into Reddit when I was in high school, so I have a Reddit account. I've had it for over 10 years. I post on the Rippaverse Reddit, so if you see some daily polls from me, the Braxcast from me, that's me posting onto the Rippaverse Reddit. That's only really the only subreddit I post to anymore, because the entire site is just a freaking dumpster fire, because the mods and the admins are just complete freaking cultists that will just get rid of anything that disagrees with them. And of course, there are a lot of people that think Reddit is just this hub box of like right-wing incels, when that's not true at all. If you go on our politics and look through, it's just a bunch of people hating on Trump. I think Spez, one of the admins, one of the founders of Reddit, actually changed people's comments because he disagreed with them. Like the amount of immaturity is just off the charts at Reddit. And the thing is that this is basically what Reddit basically is just it's a good forum generator in terms of the way the platform works, the ease you can in making the ease of it's easy to make a subreddit, and it's easy to connect that subreddit to a big network of users. Like, you've got millions of active users on Reddit now. Of course, a lot of subreddits get quarantined and actively banned. You try to talk about the Rippaverse and our comic books or our comics, you'll get banned instantly for talking about it, because he says things that are verboten. So again, Reddit could be an even better platform than it is already, or could actually be a platform worth using if the mods and the admins weren't complete dingleberries. And they are going to continue to be dingleberries, but even the Reddit moderators, who are complete freaking jokes, they have their limits. And the fact that they've threatened to protest and go dark on certain subreddits has brought into question their IPO. That's one of the things that Reddit had to say in their prospectus, because they're doing an initial public offering. Very long tangent, but Reddit is going to go public. They're going to be a publicly traded company. And one of the things I had to mention was that the fact that, like, hey, our mods can just revolt against us and our site will no longer work. And that's something that doesn't really inspire confidence. And they're also simultaneously offering Reddit users who are very committed to the site, the top tier users of Reddit, to get in on the IPO. Since my account's over 10 years old, I got that message. And I think today, I'm filming this, the 5th of March, would be the last day for me to get into it. But I have no confidence in Reddit as a company. I do not want to front any of my money to buy Reddit stock, so I've got no interest in participating in this IPO. But it's happening. It's not really going to save the company. If anything, it's going to make it worse, because you'll have a bunch of people shorting it. You'll have a bunch of people thinking of Reddit as nothing but a greedy corporation that's just represents everything that's everything wrong with corporate America and big tech and all these sorts of things. So I don't think I think if anything, it's going to knock down Reddit's status within the community, if it has any left. And that's really all Reddit is its community, the moderators and the subreddits that make Reddit what it is. It's not like a Facebook or a Twitter where it's just this main feed that you have, and you're just connecting with certain groups of people based on your interests. It's very much a decentralized network, if so to speak. Of you choose what subreddits to follow based on your interests. Of course, you make a new account. There's the default subreddits that you're subscribed to automatically. But if you want to read about comic books, or you want to read about sewing, or you want to participate in basically anything you can think of, there's usually a subreddit for it. You can find other people and participate in these things, and that's what makes Reddit interesting, is that it's a versatile forum generator, and there's so many people on Reddit. You can find basically any topic, and there's a forum about it where people are posting, and you can make subreddits yourself. So if you want to make a subreddit about like if something new happened, like the Rippaverse, I made a quartering subreddit, and I actually got a decent amount of people on that. And I actually did sell it to Jeremy. Like I made him the main mod and gave me $300 for it. And that's like the best thing that happened to me in terms of Reddit. But the thing is that subreddits can become their own thing, basically like their own websites, their own little communities. And that's why I fell in love with Reddit when I was in high school, with just how specialized it could be, and also how general it could be, because you could have our news and our politics and keep up with news and stay informed and talk about these sorts of things with a user interface that you would get familiar with pretty quickly. And it was, it all would work, and I would say it still works decently well enough, but it's just that it's fallen privy to basically all the what all the other big tech platforms have fallen to, and being censored and being hub boxes for far left globalist talking points. And that's why the IPO isn't going to really help Reddit. If anything, it's just going to accelerate that, because people are going to see they're going to have to be very upfront about how many users they have, about the status of the revenue and all these sorts of things. And it's just going to have a bunch of people who are going to look at this saying, I should short this stock, and it's just going to make the dumpster fire of Reddit even more so. And then to top it off, well, like I said, with the fact that Reddit is community. Like if the Reddit moderators and the people who actually go onto the subreddits and post content say, hey, I'm done with Reddit, then Reddit doesn't exist. And I think the IPO and Reddit going public, and Reddit having to act like a public corporation, is going to guarantee its demise. So I've really rambled on. All I have had. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Check out the pin post on Velvet Room Publishing if you want to check out paid subscriptions. Episode 57 of this podcast was a paid episode. That's one of the benefits if you pay to subscribe. So do please check it out. We're going into the outro now. Thank you for being in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, whether you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, or Substack, and be sure to subscribe to my Substack, velvetroompublishing.substack.com, to keep up with Machine to Man and all my other projects.